Across the world, humans have built places of worship in the most impossible locations: clifftops, rock pillars, hidden valleys, and isolated islands. Some of these places are so remote, so dangerous to reach, that only the most determined pilgrims and monks ever see them up close. Today we're exploring the most inaccessible churches on Earth, sacred places where faith meets extreme geography. Our journey begins in the small country of Georgia, where an unbelievable sight rises from the landscape: the Catski Pillar, a natural limestone monolith towering 40 meters, or 130 feet, straight into the sky. And on top sits a tiny church. For centuries, monks known as Stylites climbed to the top and lived in isolation, believing that being physically closer to the heavens brought them closer to God, the only way up. A vertical metal ladder bolted onto sheer rock, climbing all the way to the summit. Today, only monks are allowed to ascend, preserving the site's isolation. Visitors can walk around the base, but the top remains one of the most inaccessible holy places in the world, both physically and spiritually removed from everyday life. Next, we head to what many consider the most dangerous church to reach on the planet, carved directly into the sandstone mountains of Ethiopia's Tigray region, Abuna. Yamatagas. It's high on a vertical cliff wall. To reach it, visitors must first remove their shoes for sacred reasons. Then they climb a vertical rock face, barefoot. After that, they have to cross narrow ledges with hundreds of meters of open drop, clinging to natural handholds carved by centuries of footsteps. There are no ropes, no railings, no safety equipment. Inside, the church reveals 1,500-year-old frescoes, perfectly untouched by time, preserved by the dry mountain air and the sheer difficulty of reaching them. For the monks and villagers who still worship here, the dangerous journey is part of the spiritual experience. Faith, they say, protects those who climb. Now we travel to the mystical kingdom of Bhutan to visit Paro Taktsang, or Tiger's Nest, one of the world's most iconic monasteries. Built on the side of a cliff 900 meters above the Paro Valley, it seems almost magnetically attached to the rock. To reach it, pilgrims trek uphill for 2 to 3 hours, zigzagging through pine forests and mountain paths. The final approach involves stone stairways carved into the cliff itself, with deep ravines below. According to legend, Guru Rinpoche flew here on the back of a tiger, a dramatic beginning for a monastery that still inspires us today, though more accessible than some others on our list. The altitude, steep climb, and remote location make it a true challenge for many, yet every year thousands make the pilgrimage. Ethiopia appears on our list again, and for good reason. The Tigray region is home to more than 120 rock-hewn churches, many carved high into cliff walls. Some require dangerous climbs similar to Abuna Yamataga. Others involve steep mountain trails through desert heat. Monks and villagers have traveled these paths for centuries, often barefoot. What's incredible is that these churches were carved from a single piece of bedrock, meaning the entire structure from ceiling to floor is one continuous stone. Reaching them is difficult, but their isolation helped preserve their art, manuscripts, and traditions for over 1,000 years, offering a direct link to the ancient past. Hidden deep within Lebanon's Canabine Valley lies the monastery of St. George, a place so secluded that it feels frozen in time. Set against a backdrop of steep canyon walls, this monastery can only be reached by hiking narrow paths carved into the cliffs. The trail winds through terraces, wild vegetation, and ancient stone steps, but the reward is profound silence far removed from the modern world. This valley has been a refuge for monks, hermits, and even entire religious communities for centuries, seeking shelter from persecution. Today it remains one of the most peaceful yet hard to reach Christian sites on earth, a sanctuary of serenity. Not all inaccessible churches require daring climbs. Some simply sit in places surrounded by nature, like the Church of the Assumption on Slovenia's Lake Bled, located on a tiny island at the center of the lake. The only way to reach it is by boat. Traditional wooden vessels called pletna boats ferry visitors across calm, emerald waters. While the journey isn't dangerous, the feeling of isolation is unmistakable. The church has stood here for centuries, separated from the world by its serene island setting. Legend says ringing the church's bell and making a wish will make it come true, adding a touch of magic to this peaceful escape. For our final stop, we visit a place where it's not just one church, but entire monasteries perched on towering rock pillars. The Meteora monasteries in Greece rise from massive sandstone pillars that look like they belong on another planet. For hundreds of years, the only way for monks to get up was by climbing handmade ladders, or being hauled up in nets and baskets suspended over open air. Imagine the faith it took to trust that rope. Today, stone stairways carved into the rock make them more accessible, but the sheer scale of these cliffs still makes Meteora one of the most dramatic and inspiring monastic complexes in the entire world, from the cliffs of Ethiopia to the sky-high pillars of Georgia. These inaccessible churches remind us of the incredible lengths people will go to seek meaning, solitude, and spirituality. Some require physical strength, others demand immense courage, but all of them inspire a sense of wonder. Which of these sacred places fascinated you the most? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the world's most extraordinary places.